A quiet life in Brentwood, New York ended when an unknown rapper recorded a single that launched Bad Boy Records and shook the entire hip-hop landscape. Craig Mack's Flava in Ya Ear stormed the charts, but behind the platinum plaques was a story of sudden fame, backstage rivalry, and a mysterious vanishing act. What could drive the man behind such a seismic hit to leave it all behind? Craig Jameson Mack was born in the early 1970s in the Bronx, and his story began in the working-class neighborhoods of Brentwood, Long Island. Surrounded by a tight-knit community and a local hip-hop scene that rarely made headlines, he found his calling as a teenager. Under the name MC-EZ, Mack poured his energy into rhyming at house parties and small showcases, sharpening his delivery and developing a voice that stood out even in crowded basements. In 1988, he recorded his first commercial single, Get Retarded, as part of the duo MC-EZ and Troop. Pressed on Fresh Records, the track offered an early glimpse of Mack's gravelly tone and offbeat charisma. While the single did not break into the mainstream, it circulated among DJs and collectors, earning respect in underground circles and setting him apart from other local hopefuls. Determined to get closer to the heart of the industry, Mack connected with EPMD, the legendary Long Island rap duo. He hustled his way onto their touring crew, working as a roadie and soaking up every lesson he could, watching sound checks, learning crowd control, and sometimes grabbing the mic between sets. These years on the road were his real education. EPMD's mentorship gave him a front-row seat to professional hip-hop, teaching him the discipline and showmanship that would later define his own performances. By the early 1990s, Craig Mack had built a reputation for relentless hustle, raw talent, and a hunger that set him on the path toward something bigger than Brentwood could contain. Inside a modest Manhattan studio, Craig Mack stood over the mixing board while Easy Mo B queued up a new beat. The instrumental, built from heavy drums and a warped two-note horn stab, had been intended for another rapper, but fate and timing brought it to Bad Boy's first sessions. Mack's voice, rough and unpredictable, cut through the speakers as he recorded verse after verse, searching for the right cadence. Sean Puffy Combs, fresh off launching Bad Boy Records, listened closely. He knew this track had something different, a rawness that matched Mack's delivery and a groove that stuck in your head after the first listen. The studio energy was tense but electric. Moby later recalled how Mack's off-kilter flow and gravelly tone gave the record its edge, leaving the hook almost as an afterthought. There was no elaborate chorus, just Mack's presence, filling every bar. When Flava in Ya Ear dropped as a single in July 1994, it was more than a debut. It became the sound that introduced Bad Boy to the world. The song shot to #1 on the rap charts, cracked the Billboard Hot 100 Top 10, and was certified platinum within months. Critics praised its futuristic sound, and radio stations played it on repeat. The track earned a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Solo Performance, cementing Mack's arrival and giving Bad Boy its first major hit. For a brief moment, all eyes were on Craig Mack, the voice behind hip-hop's newest anthem. The summer of 1994 belonged to Flava in Ya Ear, but everything changed when Bad Boy dropped the official remix. Suddenly, Craig Mack's anthem became a showcase for a new generation of East Coast stars. The lineup read like a Hall of Fame roll call. The Notorious B.I.G., LL, Cool J, Busta Rhymes, and Rampage, each stepping up to the mic with something to prove. Easy Mo B's beat remained, but the remix's energy was different, bigger, and impossible to ignore. Hype Williams directed the video, stripping away color and distraction. Black and white frames, stark lighting, and slow-motion shots turned the posse cut into a visual event. Puff Daddy clicked 2 bottles together, Biggie delivered his now legendary opening verse, and the camera lingered on Mack, who closed the track with the same gravelly confidence that had launched the original. The video's style, minimalist, sharp, and almost surreal, set a new standard for hip-hop visuals, influencing countless artists who followed. Media outlets and radio DJs latched onto the remix. Biggie's verse, in particular, became the moment everyone remembered, quoted in magazines and blasted in clubs. While Mack's name was still on the record, attention began drifting toward the newcomers he had helped introduce. The remix's success pushed Bad Boy's brand into overdrive, but it also shifted the spotlight. As the label's momentum built, cracks appeared in the foundation that Mack had laid, raising questions about who would carry Bad Boy's future. After the summer of 1994, Craig Mack's name faded from the headlines that once celebrated his breakthrough. While Bad Boy Records surged ahead on the strength of the Notorious B.I.G., Mack found himself on the outside, watching the label he helped launch shift its attention elsewhere. Industry rumors swirled about rival labels, most notably Death Row Records, showing interest in signing him. Reports from the mid-1990s described overtures from Suge Knight's camp, eager to capitalize on the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. Yet no public contracts or confirmed negotiations ever surfaced, and the extent of those talks remains unproven. By 1997, Mack had moved on from Bad Boy, signing with Street Life Records. That year, he released his second album, Operation Get Down, which was executive produced by DJ Eric B. The album failed to reach the top 40, and none of its singles matched the impact of his debut. The lead single, What I Need, climbed to number 16 on the Hot Rap Singles chart, but missed the broader mainstream. Critics offered lukewarm reviews, and the project quickly disappeared from radio and retail shelves. The commercial disappointment signaled the end of Mack's pursuit of major label stardom. Brief glimmers of a comeback appeared in the early 2000s. In 2002, Mack made a cameo on the Special Delivery remix alongside G-Dep, P. Diddy, and others, a reminder of his foundational place in the Bad Boy story. But these moments were fleeting. The industry that once celebrated his voice now moved on without him. With no new albums and only sporadic features, Craig Mack quietly stepped away from the mainstream, closing the chapter on his public music career and setting the stage for a life far removed from the spotlight. By the early 2010s, Craig Mack had left behind the rhythms of the city and found himself on the grounds of a rural religious community in South Carolina. The Overcomer Ministry, led by brother R.G. Stair, became his new home, a place far removed from the world of platinum records and late-night studios. In online videos posted by the ministry, Mack stands before the congregation, his voice steady as he speaks about turning away from his old life. He calls his past career a distraction, declaring his devotion to God and his commitment to a life of faith. The words are clear, documented on camera. He has no regrets, only gratitude for the path that brought him here. The congregation listens as Mack testifies, sometimes rapping verses from Scripture, blending the cadence of his former art with the conviction of newfound belief. These moments, captured and shared, show a man at peace with his decision, a witness to his own transformation, stepping fully into a life defined by faith and community. Daily life at Overcomer Ministry revolved around routine and discipline. Members woke before sunrise, gathering for morning prayer in the chapel, where voices rose together in hymns and scripture. Farm work began as the sun crested the horizon, tending gardens, feeding chickens, and repairing fences. The community shared every meal, prepared from crops they harvested themselves, following a simple vegetarian diet. Money was absent from daily exchanges, and everything was communal, from clothing to chores. Craig Mack, once known for his presence on stage, found a new rhythm within these walls. His voice, familiar to millions, now led worship songs and recited verses, blending his musical gifts with expressions of faith. Afternoon hours brought Bible study and group discussions. Evenings returned everyone to the chapel for more worship. Technology, television, and outside music were set aside in favor of quiet, collective devotion. In this secluded setting, Mack became not a star, but a brother among equals. His days were shaped by shared labor, prayer, and a sense of purpose far removed from the world he left behind. In an industry that often forgets its pioneers, Craig Mack's echo remains, proof that one voice can launch an era and then vanish, unheard. Today, countless artists still fight to be remembered on their own terms. Legacy is not guaranteed. It is something we are all still writing. Thank you for watching.